Alright, so now back to the chainsaw here. I've already drained the fuel, and we can just pop that out of the way. And I have a forceps here. This tool here is really invaluable for this kind of work. You can get these at fishing stores, hardware stores. This one came from actually a True Value hardware store. It's a Master Mechanic. They're not expensive. Sometimes you get them a 3-pack. But what we're going to do in this case, this fuel line goes down into the tank through this hole. Okay. So if you look into the gas tank there, you'll see that where the fuel line comes in, and there's also a fuel filter on the end of it. So we're going to reach in and we're going to grab that line, pinch it, and then it's going to start pulling. It came off. Let's try that again. Let's see. You can see that I'm pulling it out like so. Oop. Alright. That should get it. You'll see here's the fuel filter. Take that off. We can reuse that. And then we could grab it from here and pull this through. There you go. There's the old fuel line. Now, kind of keep an idea of about how long that was, because you want the fuel line in the tank with the filter to be able to lay in the bottom of the tank, so that when you're using the chainsaw, your filter's not hanging up like this, and you can still have half a tank of fuel, but none of it's being sucked up through the tube. Allow this to lay in the bottom of the tank, and remember, in this case, it came through this hole and up and over the carburetor. So but we're gonna have to start with a piece of fuel line longer than that, and here's why. The fuel line that I use for this application is this 0.080 by 0.140 fuel line, the yellow Tygon fuel line. Okay, so I buy it a bunch at a time like this, or at least this is what's left of a bunch. I mean, it just came in a small manila envelope. But the first thing I'm going to do is I need to be able to take this end and get it back into that hole, and it's not going to go easy just the way it is. So I'm going to take a razor blade and I'm going to cut a nice skinny bevel off the end to make it kind of a point. Sort of like that. Okay. So now I've got a nice pointed beginning. Now, before you start putting it in there, if you take a look down with a flashlight, you'll see that there's a couple of holes, and if you want to make sure to get all the way through the bottom hole into the tank, otherwise it doesn't work, right? So I'll start feeding it in there. Okay, so now it's met some resistance, but because of my tapered cut, I may be able to spot it. So there it is. Okay, so forceps and grab a hold of that. start pulling it through. Alright, it broke off on me, but that's okay. It started coming through, so I can grab a hold again. And here it is. It's a good snug fit, which is good. That means the fuel won't leak around the line. Reach in there and give it a little help. Okay, so here we are. Now I'm going to cut this off flush. Put the fuel filter on. This can get tricky sometimes here too, because to get this fuel line to stretch over this barbed insert on the filter sometimes is difficult. Well, this time it's going pretty good. Sometimes it does help to have a little heat gun and heat this up a little bit. Careful not to melt it though. So there we go. We've got the new the filter on there. Not the new filter. And we've left some play in there. Probably a little bit too much actually, so I'm just going to pull some back up until I'm happy with the way it lays in the bottom of the tank. There we go. And now remember, I'm going to have some, it's going to come over here and it's going to hook up to the top of the carburetor there. So we can trim some more if we need to, or pull it back into the tank. So now we've got new fuel line.